Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and I'm just stopping by to talk about this idea that I had going around in my head pretty much all day. So earlier, I was watching a video of RG3 talking about how Caleb Williams should sit out if the Chicago Bears decide to draft him. Now, I understand why he said that because number one, it's the Chicago Bears. And yes, Caleb Williams is supremely talented, and it wouldn't be the first time a highly touted quarterback has actually said they would do this. See Eli Manning, see John Elway. However, I was thinking about that, and long story short, I really didn't. I really don't agree with that issue. I don't, or that stance from RG3. I don't. I don't think Williams should do that. I didn't think Eli Manning should do that. I wasn't even born when John Elway did it. The point I'm making is something completely different, and the point actually came from just thinking about how saying how Williams has kind of been moving. Leading up to these draft moments for him. So I was thinking, like, what if, like, there was just no NFL draft? Like, what if NFL teams they actually sought out their players? What if they recruited players or tried to hire players, similar to how corporations go after college students or college recruits? Now, please forgive me because I didn't really intend to like plan any of this out because I think it's going to take a whole lot of planning and reasoning and all this other stuff. But I mean, just hear me out a little bit. Like, what if, NFL teams actually, instead of drafting players and waiting on a certain round to see which player going to fall, which da 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 da, what if they just actually just went out and sought these players that they wanted? You know what I'm saying? Whether or not they appeared to be fourth round picks, appeared to be first round picks, appeared to be third round picks, appeared to be sixth round picks. You know what I'm saying? What if they just saw these players on tape and be like, you know what? We need him. Let's go ahead and get him. You know what I'm saying? So a couple of things really just kind of just drew me to this thought, this idea. Most notably, I've been watching like the last few weeks. I've just been watching, these quarterbacks that's from these 2021 and 2022 draft classes have just been kind of moved around. You know what I'm saying? And so, Mac Jones, he got traded. After he had a good rookie year or whatever. Few seasons later, he got traded, but not even just him. Kenny Pickett, after 2 years, just 2 years in Pittsburgh, a first round pick got traded to another team. You know what I'm saying? Ironically, Justin Fields, you know what I'm saying? After, a couple of seasons, he got moved to another team. You know what I'm saying? And so, the list can go on. Sam Howell, the only quarterback that seems to be doing really, really well, like overall well, of these of the previous of the 2021 and 2022 draft classes is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant. Like, and I think we all know that because announcers will not let you go by without letting you know that he was the last player drafted in the 2022 draft class overall. So that means, whoever was about to pick them, if they had, if they had two burritos that day and had to sit on the toilet a little bit longer, he might not be on the NFL roster. You know what I'm saying? So he's so ironically he is like the best quarterback out of that class. You know what I'm saying? He's led the 49ers to, two straight conference championships. He's led them to a Super Bowl berth. You know what I'm saying? So he's really doing his thing right now. And so I say that to say, with no draft, like, you know what I'm saying? Would he even be like Mr. Irrelevant? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause with those with the draft, everything's focused on like a lot of the attention goes to the first round, and rightfully so. The first round is supposed to be like the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? And so after that, the second round is kind of like, oh, it's kind of like it's kind of like the reserves for the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, did he at least make it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still some quality players there, but you know what I'm saying? They're just not, the first round, headline. They're not the first round names that you were expecting to go. You know what I'm saying? And then after the second round, it's pretty much third round, fourth round, yada 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 yada, and so forth and so forth. And so there's always, and rightfully so, there's always going to be hype on the third round. But think about it. It's only like 30 something players against the other 200 and something players that are actually, you know what I'm saying, getting drafted and picked. And it's more than likely you'll find, players in those later rounds um, having longer careers are actually making rosters, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to like 32 other players. You feel me? So it's it's really about a number. Like when you look at the numbers like that, the 32 versus like the later rounds, you know what I'm saying? It's you know what I'm saying. It's kind of like which one you gonna pick. You gonna pick that few or the field. You know what I'm saying? So um, that's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you didn't get the player like in this particular round, so you're hoping he's gonna fall down to the second or third round. Like, why don't you just go get the player that's gonna help? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, maybe it could be a case of like, you know what I'm saying, there's a deep class on one year. So you have a whole selection to pick from. Maybe you need a couple wide receivers. Maybe you need a wide receiver to come in, to the rotation. Maybe you need somebody to come in and, you know what I'm saying, do some kick returning or whatever, some special teams work. Um, so yeah, just getting rid of the draft will kind of take what I'm saying, it'll kind of take away that whole, round. It'll just take away the focus on like what round somebody went in. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not on that whole like, I'm not saying that to like, be like, oh, you got to protect somebody's feelings. No, like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's going to the same damn place. Yeah, it's special to be called a first rounder as opposed to a second rounder. But, you know what I'm saying? A fourth rounder can get in the league and he can make the same amount. If he puts in the work, he can make the same amount of money as a first rounder or even more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Just go in there and just, really just like choose who you want, and maybe that'll help hopefully stop these coaches from getting fired like every other year. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so the draft thing, just like getting rid of it could take the focus off the draft rounds and all that, where players get picked. Another thing is, it's it's becoming an era uh, of it's becoming more of an era of player empowerment. You know what I'm saying? So in the pros, you kind of see it, with players kind of, what I'm saying, really forcing their way out of situations that they're not fond of. A semi good example I would have for this is the Deshaun Watson situation where, right before those, what I'm saying, that massage situation hit, he kind of forced his way out of Houston. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of demanding the trades and all the other stuff. And maybe a better example would probably be T. Higgins. They couldn't. Him and the Bengals couldn't agree to a long term deal, so now he's talking about he wants to get a trade or whatever. So you know what I'm saying. So players, they have the right to what I'm saying, do this stuff, and nowadays with for the college athletes, with the NIL, you kind of see what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like every other week, it's transfer portal this, transfer portal that. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, maybe it could. Some of it is NIL deals. Some of it is like playing time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Like in all my years of just kind of watching college football, I don't think I've ever seen a time where quarterbacks are treating the colleges like, what I'm saying, like they're free agents. You know what I'm saying? Like it's usually like, yeah, it's usually, quarterback gets in there, uh, sits behind the dude for like maybe a couple years. Maybe he'll get a year in as a starter. Maybe he won't, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Now the players ain't really doing it ain't really waiting around for that. They're like, if I can go over here, get some more playing time. If I can go over here, what I'm saying, get some more NIL money, let me do that. So the college players, what I'm saying, they're really getting conditioned into like knowing like how to exercise their choices. And so with that said, that maybe it's going to be a time where they exercise their choice of what team they actually want to go to. You know what I'm saying? And so, maybe it's not Caleb Williams doing this, but maybe down the line, it's another quarterback that's quote unquote generational talent that just really puts his foot down and says like, "Hey, I don't care that you have the number one pick. I'm putting my foot down. I'm not going to this team that's doesn't seem to be doing all the things that are meant to that are meant to ensure that I have a successful career in the long term and in the short term as well." So, that's a possibility that could happen. Now, my what I feel would be a solid argument against all of that is that the pageantry of all of this seems to be really valuable for the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like the combine, televising that, bringing the celebrities in for that, and just kind of making that a whole program, and just showing that on NFL Network. That seems to be really like an event, especially now that these dudes are like setting these records with 40 times. You know what I'm saying? And just fans really get to see like the players just come in and just wow, the crowds. I remember last year, Anthony Richardson, he made a dude cuss on TV, because he was he was doing so good. And so just things like that, that's an opportunity that they're not going to pass up on, because they feel like, fans that are really into the game, they're going to, see these players do that at the combine, get excited about seeing where they're going to get selected in the draft. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, they'll watch the draft, see who their team picked. And the thing about that is, with the, with the teams, one of the more underrated aspects of the draft, especially the first and for the first and second rounds, is the trades. You know what I'm saying? So uh, it wasn't that long ago we saw AJ Brown get traded to the Philadelphia Eagles on draft night for a first round pick or whatever. And so you never know what's going to happen. And those, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a shortage of trade rumors coming up in this particular draft as well. What I would, but yeah, so the draft is just, it's a real pageantry, a real valuable piece for the NFL. Now, what I would say also, as an alternative to that, and forgive me, as you can see, all of this is unorganized and misconstrued, just some thoughts that's been scrambling in my head. I would say that maybe they do things a little bit differently if they go the route of eliminating the draft. And this is just my imagination. I would say that, maybe, teams announce their pro days. They find an email or something from each franchise's scouting department. They shoot an email to all the scouting departments. Scouting departments reply back to which pro days they're going to go to. It's a department, so they can send more than one scout out there. You know what I'm saying? So they do that. Scouts, they kind of like what they see. They, chop it up with their other scouts. Everybody get the information, but like, all right, boom, we want this one at the combine. So they probably invite like each franchise probably invites like 10 players max out 10 players. That's it to the combine. They invite them to the combine. You know what I'm saying? They work them out, put them through the drills, all this good stuff. And, after that, they interview them. You know what I'm saying? They examine what they see on tape, examine what they see on the interview, see where their head's at, all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? They probably take a few days to, finalize on something. They make their selection. They, send out their choices, email them to the athlete or whatever. Athlete responds, accepting it, blah blah blah. You know, um, once they accept it, they'll set aside a whole day for like just just really they'll set aside a day for like announcing it. You know what I'm saying? And but it'll probably take 2 hours. Each franchise will go, they'll be like, we made 5 picks, we made 4 picks. You know what I'm saying? They announce all those picks. They announce all 4 of their picks, all 5 of their picks. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Something a little blueprintish for that. But if y'all take that idea, remember where y'all came from with that. But yeah, I the only thing I probably left out is the trades. Um, because I know that's still an exciting part just to see like who got it right, who got fleeced, because that's the new thing now on the internet. Who got fleeced in the trades, not whose team got better, but who got fleeced, who got robbed, things like that. So I don't know. If somebody gets a hold of that idea, maybe they'll figure it out. But I said all that to say this. Getting rid of the draft sounds like a wacky idea. But I'm pretty sure throughout the history of everything has been a wacky idea. We have had a wacky start to this decade. You know what I'm saying? So, for teams to actually go the route of, bypassing the draft and just choosing players that fits the team, fits the franchise, the culture, fits the coach, fits the coach's schemes, you know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think that's not out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? I think that can eventually happen, you know? And so it's probably not gonna happen in the next 5 years, probably not even gonna happen in the next 15 years, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. I'm not gonna say soon because I just put it off for so damn long. But I feel like it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? From one way or another. And it'll just be coinciding with like how this new era of, you know what I'm saying, player empowerment. Players making their own choices, about how are players taking more control of their own careers. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's an individual sport or a team sport or not. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about that. I just had to get that off my chest, get that out my bald head. So that's all I got for y'all, man. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.